This is Columbus Concerns, a public affairs presentation of North American Broadcasting. Here's your host, Mark Nuce.
And good morning, and thanks for joining us today on Columbus Concerns. With us from the Parkinson's Foundation, the Development Director for the Great Lakes chapter of the Parkinson's Foundation is Lori Gumm. And Lori, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.
Tell us about the Great Lakes chapter of the Parkinson's Foundation. What kind of area do you cover?
Yeah, so the Great Lakes chapter covers Ohio, Michigan, and western Pennsylvania, so Pittsburgh and west. And generally speaking, our focus for the last couple of years was really central Ohio because I'm located here. But we have really moved our resources and our events to Cleveland, Grand Rapids, Michigan. We have a big event in Dayton. So we're really trying to expand particularly our reach so that we can make sure those communities have resources, especially the smaller communities like Dayton, things like that. We're really expanding and reaching out, and I love being on shows like this because, you know, the real purpose of the Parkinson's Foundation, while we do research and we do all of that, our goal is really helping people with Parkinson's live better every day. So we're about now. We're also, we say, it's not just people that have Parkinson's, it's families that have Parkinson's. So we have a large caretaker resource pool and really out there to help the families, because when someone gets Parkinson's, it takes a family and a village to really give people with Parkinson's the care and, you know, particularly the support and the emotional support that they need. So that's our goal. And we're a part of the Parkinson's Foundation is national. There's 18 different chapters. We're one of them. So the nice thing is that while we bring a lot of resources back to local communities, we can employ what the national can provide, such as a helpline that is staffed with doctors and nurses and physical therapists. We have a free genetic testing program called PD Generation. That we can test for that's particularly interesting to children of people that have Parkinson's. And then that information is used for research to find out, you know, what kind of genes particularly are causing Parkinson's. So we do a lot of things, and we're just thrilled to get to know some of our more far-reaching Great Lakes chapter community.
Lori Gumm is here, the Development Director for the Great Lakes chapter of the Parkinson's Foundation. Before we go any further, maybe you can tell us how people can get more information about your chapter and about Parkinson's.
Sure. The best place to go, first of all, to start off is Parkinson.org. There's no S at the end. People can make that mistake. Parkinsons.org. That is to our general website. If you want to go to our Great Lakes chapter, it's parkinson.org/Great Lakes. But if you go to either of those, you will see it's an extensive website, very easy to navigate, though, that will show you the resources, you know, all of them free, that we have. And so we have a helpline, like I mentioned before. It's 1-800-4PD-INFO. That, of course, is 1-800-473-4636. Again, you will get a human. You will get a human that understands Parkinson's. You will get a human that understands those challenges and understands it medically. So, again, that larger helpline, something that a smaller chapter probably could never afford themselves, that's where we really get the benefit of being part of a national foundation.
Well, first of all, I'm sure everyone's heard of Parkinson's, and they know somebody who's had it. It's not something that's rare. So tell us, what is exactly Parkinson's and who can get it?
Yeah. Parkinson's is a neurodegenerative disease that affects essentially, I'm not going to get too technical here, but the dopaminergic neurons in the brain. That is the neurons that produce dopamine. So essentially, Parkinson's is a lack of dopamine, that the brain can't process that. So what happens is that is particularly neurodegenerative, which means your classic Parkinson's symptoms, tremors, walking, all of that. But people don't understand there's a lot of cognitive symptoms for Parkinson's too. As it progresses, there can be hallucinations, confusion, lack of impulse control. And generally speaking, this generally affects people over 65. However, we are recently having a surge of what we call young or early onset Parkinson's.
Really?
Starting at 30, 32, 34. I have a very good friend who was diagnosed 10 years ago at 34 years old. So we don't know whether it's happening more or our diagnosing is becoming so much better that we're diagnosing it earlier. And that's a real issue because, and that's one of the reasons we're trying to reach out to more of our underserved communities, is that a lot of regular physicians aren't really familiar with Parkinson's, So people that are just going to, their general, primary care physician, if it's a more subtle symptom, they might not get diagnosed for a long time. And what we do know about Parkinson's, there is a lot we don't. And it's amazing after all these years how much we don't know. Yeah. We have learned that early diagnosis, and in particular exercise, can do what we call delay the disease. So that early diagnosis is absolutely critical. So it's in a pilot program at the moment, and this is very exciting to me. We are starting a certification and a training with the Foundation for Primary Care Physicians so that, they can really spot this and then obviously turn them over to a neurologist or a motion disorder specialist for the care that they need.
Have you made any discoveries on the cause?
It's really incredible. Yes and no. They're getting closer, but to a certain extent, Parkinson's is like cancer. We always say, if you know one person with Parkinson's, you know one person with Parkinson's. The symptoms are so varied, like cancer. It's so varied, and I think, as with cancer, it's so big that finding that single reason is very difficult. So it's a combination of research and care, but no, what we're really striving for, and we have a new program where we're collaborating with Parkinson's Foundation UK. We're actually started a new fund, which is our venture philanthropy, where we're helping to raise money to get drugs through the approval process. So what happens is you get this drug, goes through its clinical trials, looks really promising. As we know, it can take 15 years for a drug to get on the market. So we're really investing in helping that process speed up. So again, yes, we do have research components, and we fund grants for young researchers everywhere in the country. But again, our focus is really on trying to help people now that with the resources that we have. And people often ask, and this is always a question, what's the difference between you and Michael J. Fox Foundation? Well, here's the cool thing. We both do a great job serving the PD community. However, the Michael J. Fox Foundation is really throws all of their weight into the research for a cure. We do that also, but again, our main focus is helping people now, in families now.
We'll talk a little bit about some of the ways you can help people and help families and help caregivers.
Well, we have a lot of resources. We have, caregiver summits especially with Zoom now, we have caregiver summits. We have support groups for caregivers as well as people with Parkinson's, because one of the things I've certainly learned is that the emotional support is as important as the, medical or physical support. Yeah. So, I think one way, if you do have a friend or a family who has Parkinson's, educate yourself. Get on the website at parkinson.org or call that helpline. And educate yourself as much as you can, because I will tell you, the first thing anyone will tell me is that when you get a diagnosis of Parkinson's, it's like any disease. You're overwhelmed. You're
Yeah.
overwhelmed and you're frightened and your family's frightened. So trying to educate yourself about it or reaching out to us so that we can help you find community. We can help you find the resources you need. We have available now, it's called a newly diagnosed kit. So if you find that out, call us or go on our website. You can order it, and it answers a lot of those questions. Because here's the thing now, that internet's great. But I'll tell you what, you start just going out and fishing for information, that can be a very scary place, and most of it's wrong.
Ah, yeah.
So if you come to us, you know that you're getting, the right, accurate. And even on our helpline, we can help you find a neurologist or a motion disorder specialist in your area. We're that specific about it. And, there's so much confusion about the different drugs. And, again, the helpline can help with that. Oh, my goodness. We have Ask the Expert podcast that go over all of this. We have community education events. We just had one in Toledo. We had a symposium in person here in Ohio with almost 150 people. And again, that's great. Number one, you're getting education from the local experts. Number two, again, after COVID, we can all come together again, and that's where you find community. And we'll talk about in a little bit too, one of the reasons we have the events that we have is not just for fundraising. We hear so many people have met each other at these events that, you find community, and that is so very important. Isolation is never good. Isolation with Parkinson's is horrible.
Our guest today on the program is Lori Gum. She's the Development Director for the Great Lakes chapter of the Parkinson's Foundation. And again, give us the website and the phone number where people can get more information.
Sure. Parkinson, no S, parkinson.org. And we have a helpline. Again, you can ask any question that you need help with. Easy to remember is 1-800-4PD-INFO. Or, of course, that number is 1-800-473-4636. That's a great start those two real centers of information can certainly get you started.
I was on the website before you got here this morning, and
great.
It said an estimated 1 million people in the U.S. are living with Parkinson's disease and more than 10 million people worldwide. So my question is, especially if I'm of a certain age, if you say that most cases come 65 and older, although you've seen some early onset cases that have been surging, but what sort of symptoms should I look for, and what should make me go see a doctor?
Generally speaking, and I want to be really general with this, for most people it starts with a tremor in your fingers. One of the things is suddenly you notice you can't really write anymore. Mm-hmm. It's those kind of things. You may have trouble. It's not like you suddenly can't walk, but your wife or husband says, your gait's changed. You're walking differently. And one of the things that first symptoms is people with Parkinson's walk and maybe one of their arms doesn't move when they walk. And they're not even aware of these things. So sometimes these symptoms will actually be brought to their attention by a spouse or a partner or a family member because they don't even know it. But often the tremors, again, just sort of an inability to do something that you did before. And it can be things like another thing, swallowing. Having difficulty, swallowing. Mm-hmm. That can be sort of an early sign of that. But most people, it's a tremor. But I really want to give the caveat of the fact that people think if they don't have a tremor, they don't have Parkinson's. But again, any kind of sort of action that you're suddenly having difficulty with can be speaking. And, so just any sort of change, but particularly the tremors, the change in gait, mm-hmm. Things like that, you need to go to your doctor and say, hey, could this possibly be Parkinson's? I would bring, that to their attention. And
then how do they diagnose it?
You're not going to believe it when I tell you this.
Okay.
There's no test.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What it is an educated neurologist or primary care or motion disorder specialist they're going to look at a set of symptoms, and they're going to bring you in, and they're going to test your gait, and they're going to test your ability to do all of these things. So initially it is, well, they are the experts. Generally speaking, they can make that diagnosis.
Sure.
But really the true determination of whether or not you have Parkinson's, if you are given a sort of medicine that increases the dopamine in the brain and you react to that, well, then we know you have Parkinson's. Yeah. So, unfortunately, you would think, oh, there isn't a blood test or, a stress test that you could take. No. And then whether or not you respond to a dopaminergic drug ultimately is that 100% confirmation that you have Parkinson's.
Talk about treatment options.
There are different drugs now, again, that replace that, and some of them are very good. You can take those orally. There's actually a pump that you can have sort of. It's not inconvenient. It's a pump that goes directly into your body that pumps this dopamine, levodopa. And so you can start right away on medicine that does really help. However, what we're finding again and again is that exercise makes the difference. And I mean a big difference. You can really slow the advance of symptoms with a regular exercise program. That's why what's developed around the Parkinson's community is called rock steady boxing. It is boxing with a heavy bag and hitting gloves and the sense of fighting back. So rock steady boxing is big. We have what's called Delay the Disease, which is a exercise program that was actually started by David Zinn and Jackie Russell of Columbus, and it's world famous now. But Delay the Disease, it is an exercise program. And what differentiates these exercise programs to a certain extent is they also include cognitive exercises as you're physically exercising. And it even gets to a point where if someone can't necessarily stand or walk well, we have chair yoga, we have chair boxing. These exercise programs can accommodate anyone at any stage of progression. So once it does progress more, it's even more important to exercise. Exercise also helps your appetite. Exercise also helps you sleep. So get the right drug, but I would say, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I would say even more important than the medicine right away is to start exercising every single day and find a group of people you can exercise with, because, it's a lot easier to skip the gym when no one's waiting for you. But get that community, find something you love to do, because if you don't love to do it, you're not going to do it every day. But we have seen just extraordinary responses and pretty much, stopping the symptoms by exercise. It is sounds so simple, but that it's exercise. It really is. And we could all take that. I mean,
it's the answer to everything.
It's the answer to everything. It's funny. I just went to my doctor yesterday, have an earache, and we were talking about, and I've had some back issue. And he's like, "You sit too much, exercise. There you go. There's my prescription." And I said, "You're right. You're absolutely right, especially through COVID, Yeah. So yeah, all of us could take that recommendation.
Okay, I saw you looking at me when you were talking there. But, talk about some of these events that you have planned for the upcoming new year.
Yeah, it's really exciting. So we have on February 25th, we have what's called Parkinson's Revolution. It is a spinning event, and we have it at the Columbus Cycle Bar in Polaris. And it's really, you build teams and then you come in, and so this is February 25th. This is happening in 18 other cities on the same day. And you can also join virtually. So we'll have a virtual, you can spin at home, or you can, just take a real bike ride and participate. So for what we're doing now, the first session is at 11. That is actually for people with Parkinson's. And then we have another session at 1 o'clock, and that will be for a little more strenuous, and often we have children and family members and friends take part in that. You can take part in either, but we're kind of gearing them for two different activity levels, and it's so much fun. And we have this little after party, and again, in the middle of winter, we'll start to come out of winter. It's really nice to get together, and we have, I think, about 40 people per session, so it's not a huge event, but boy, it's fun. And I'll tell you what, that spinning's no joke. I went last year. I never spun before. I went last year. I was like looking around. I was like, I mean, is it supposed to be that? Like, that's spinning ain't easy. Spinning ain't easy.
It's a real exercise.
It's
there.
real exercise. It's a lot more than walking my dog once a day. That's for sure.
Definitely. So talk about how important it is to get people together. You said, people can give each other emotional support.
Correct. So the other events we have during the year, it's called, aptly named, it's called Moving Day. So we have a Dayton Moving Day in May, a Cleveland Moving Day in June, and our Columbus Moving Day at Wolf Park the first weekend of October. Now, what this is this is a walk. So it's a mile walk. We have two, a mile walk or a half mile walk, so everybody can accommodate it. But again, you build teams before. But when you come there for that day, we have a lot of activities. We have a We Move ceremony where people with Parkinson's and people who know people with Parkinson's are speaking. And again, it's a chance to get the entire Columbus Parkinson's community together. Yeah. And we just went to Dayton last week, and we met with some community members, and they were telling us, it was a group of about 7 of them, they had met at Dayton Moving Day. They didn't even know each other, and now they're exercising together, and they're becoming this, this really formidable support group. So that's really our aim, is to bring people together, to walk with our families, walk with our friends. Again, it's a fundraising. You make a team, your typical walk thing. Yeah. But boy, to watch everybody on that walk. And last year we had a huge surprise. Brutus Buckeye joined us for the last quarter of a mile of the walk, nice. And people were just losing their minds. It was a really nice surprise. But and that's what I mean with community, because again, isolation for any person is dangerous, let alone when you have people that are going through the same thing, they're having the same challenges. It is really important to make, because here's what happens with Parkinson's too, especially if it's a physical symptom, tremors, well, they don't want to go out anymore. Yeah. They don't want to go to dinner. They have difficulty eating, so that's how the first isolation starts to happen. Well, you know what? You don't mind that so much if you're around people that are just like yourself. It is for any marginalized community, it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. Once you're around people that are like yourself, and it's just so important. And again, if you reach out to us, and I'll give my phone number here in a minute, that's my direct line. Reach out to us. We can help you find a support group in the area. We can help you find a Rocksteady program. We can get you signed up for Revolution and Moving Day. And one of our biggest jobs is to help people with Parkinson's find community.
Our guest on the program today, Lori Gumm, the Development Director for the Great Lakes Chapter of the Parkinson's Foundation. We're almost out of time. It's hard to believe, but I had about 50 more questions, but we'll get to them next time.
Well, I talk a lot, too. I don't give you much room for questions.
No,
I'm known for that.
I think we got to a lot of really good information today, but once again, before we go, give us the website address and phone numbers that people can call.
Sure. Parkinson, NoS.org. That's where you should start. If you want the local chapter, Parkinson.org/Great Lakes. Our helpline, again, for any question you have, 1-800-473-4636. Again, my name is Lori, Lori. My last name is Gumm, like Gum. I always say sticks with you. And my direct line is 614-918-7308. Again, 614-918-7308, or LGUM@parkinson.org. LGUM@parkinson.org. And if I can answer your question, I can certainly get you to somebody who can.
Lori, thanks so much for stopping by. We really appreciate you coming in and telling us more about the Parkinson Foundation.
My pleasure. Appreciate it so much. Thanks, Mark.
I'm Mark Nuce, and we want to thank you very much, and we'll see you next week for another edition of Columbus Concerns.
Thanks for listening to Columbus Concerns, a public affairs presentation of North American Broadcasting. You can send questions or comments about today's show to Columbus Concerns in care of this station, 1458 Dublin Road, Columbus 43215. Or email us at columbusconcerns@napcomedia.com.
I'm Tiffany Haddish.
And I'm Marlon Wayans. African Americans are 3 times more likely to be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer than any other racial or ethnic group.
When you or someone you love is facing a pancreatic cancer diagnosis, access to cutting-edge treatment can help make long-term survival possible and improve future patient outcomes.
That's why Stand Up to Cancer and the Lustgarten Foundation have teamed up to bring over 30 pancreatic cancer clinical trials to those who need them.
Learning all you can about pancreatic cancer, including treatment options and what clinical trials are available, can give you or a loved one even more than hope. It can help make long-term survival possible.
For more information about the latest pancreatic cancer research and clinical trials near you, visit pancreaticcancercollective.org.
Are you 45 or older? Then listen up. The time is now to get yourself screened for colon cancer. The time is now to take control. Listen, this disease can be very treatable when caught early, so the sooner you know what's up with your health, the better. The good news is that there are options for getting screened that are easier than you think. Get informed. Hey, we're all busy and we think, I'll make time later. Well, make time now. It just might mean more time with your family down the road. If you're a man or a woman, 45 or older, I'm talking to you. Many of us have lost friends, young friends, to colon cancer. Don't make the mistake of waiting until you have symptoms or think that you have no risk because it doesn't run in your family. Everybody needs to be screened. So, take control. Get screened for colon cancer, 45 or older. Learn how at standuptocancer.org/colon-cancer.
Furnished by Stand Up to Cancer.
This is Jamie Foxx, and I want to help you take control of something very important, your health. If you're 45 or older, you need to get yourself screened for colon cancer. This disease can be very treatable when caught early, so the sooner you know what's up with your health, the better. The good news is that there's options for getting screened that are easier than you think. Get informed. Hey, we're all busy, and we think, when would we fit it in? Well, make the time. It just might mean more time with your family down the road. If you're a man or a woman, 45 or older, I'm talking to you. I've lost good friends, young friends, to colon cancer. Don't make the mistake of waiting until you have symptoms or think that you have no risk because it doesn't run in your family. Everybody needs to be screened. So, take control. Get screened for colon cancer, 45 or older. Learn how. standuptocancer.org/colon-cancer.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me, I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
There was this one time I went snorkeling in the Caribbean when I was a kid. It really just blew my mind. We saw the most beautiful corals. I remember thinking they were waving at us as they moved with the ocean. And then there were all these amazing fish. I'll never forget it. It completely changed the way I look at the ocean.
Most of us have a memory of being in nature we'll never forget. Let's protect the world's natural places so more memories can be made for generations to come. Visit worldwildlife.org.